Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion and the second half of my daily astrology post, which you can find on my other channel called Astrology Today and Tarot with Mel Rose. The idea behind the second post is to bring further intuitive insight into the day's energies. I'll discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page, and then I'll make a quick review of the day's astrology before playing another tarot card, which may give us something more to think about. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. The card that sits on the side of the page right now is the Two of Cups. Today is just the second day. It's the first full day of the sun's transit in Cancer. Yesterday was the summer solstice, so we sort of begin afresh at the peak of the sun's influence here, and with some watery vibes. And Cancer is cardinal water. That means initiating connection, initiating connection and support, okay? Sort of emotional support, moral support, nurturing support. And cups in tarot is also water. So cups, water, that has to do with our emotions, our intuitive faculty, and sort of our creative flow as well. And the Two of Cups really represents a meeting of hearts, okay? Or a meeting of people in partnership. And, you know, it doesn't have to be a romantic partnership, but probably definitely if you find yourself beginning a new partnership at this time, because it wouldn't be out of the ordinary to initiate something under a fresh Cancer sun with a Aries moon. If you find yourself initiating a partnership at this time, it's going to be with somebody that you feel good about, that you like, okay? Even if you haven't fallen in love or anything like that. So this is a card about unity. It's a card about seeing two as one. And, you know, the relationship in this that's represented in this card is based on a desire for balance, and a desire on the part of both of these people to honor and respect the other person. There's a caduceus here in the middle that sort of amplifies or reinforces the theme of two things becoming one, or two people becoming one. And it looks almost like a lightning rod, like it's putting energy down into it. And then those red wings, they show up on a few of these cards, and they sort of represent, you know, the freedom that, to me, in my eyes, they represent, you know, the freedom and the growth that we undergo, in this case, when we enter into a partnership like this. So it's like a mingling of complementary opposites, you know. No two people are just the same, and often we find ourselves in good, close friendships, or in romantic relationships, or in business partnerships, just with somebody who's really not very much like us, you know, and that's because, you know, not being very much like us, we have things to learn, right? We can sort of learn off of one another that way, and grow from that relationship. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle some cards and remind myself, as well as the cards, that the sun is in Cancer. Today is the first full day of the sun in Cancer. And it's funny, I was thinking that this was Gemini vibes yesterday, but it's really definitely Cancer vibes. The Cancer has the two figures in one there. And obviously these people are coming together with, you know, an emotional, a positive emotional approach to a partnership there. So this is about, you know, co-nurturing one another, honoring one another, respecting one another, you know, sort of feeding one another, right? All right. So sharing in that emotionally connected way. So Sun in Cancer, that's what we do. We share in that emotionally connected way. We've been doing all this intellectual connecting with people lately. With the Sun in Gemini, we've been sharing ideas, and we've been, collaborating with others. And you spend enough time with some people, you probably start to grow a certain amount of affection or regard for them. And so, out of that can grow stronger partnerships. So thank goodness for that. And that's where we're at with the solar cycle right now, is sort of nurturing our partnerships, nurturing our closer relationships, thinking about the peace in our heart and our home, but out in the expressed life, like really thinking about it in our whole life. And then on the moon side of the page today, we have the, what is that? Waning crescent moon in Aries. Waning crescent moon is a time of active decrease anyway, and then Aries is the fire starter, and Aries loves a good fresh start. Okay, so Aries is there to do the work, to help us get moving. It's very active vibe, to help us just start pushing those outdated thoughts, ideas, attitudes, dispositions out of our minds and out of our hearts, to stop cluttering up our brains with stuff that doesn't work anymore, and also the literal stuff that we have to stop cluttering up our lives with stuff we literally are just stepping over, right? So it's a good time to be actively decreasing, so that we can come to this sort of blank slate period of time here with the new moon before we begin to create again and culminate. On the moon side of the page today, moon went conjunct to Mars this afternoon, and we're brave, passionate, competitive, and cooperative. This is an amplification of our feelings and our assertiveness, right? Our feelings and our sort of reactiveness. So, this might be a time when if we were called on to actually be brave, or to stand up for somebody, or to stand up for ourselves, we could do it with really no problem. In fact, it would almost be compulsive. So, I hope that if that comes up for you, it's a really positive outcome. And, remember, we can be brave and passionate and competitive and cooperative, and we can stand up for ourselves without being unkind to others. And then, unnecessarily unkind. And then moon sextile Saturn down here later this evening, another time of day when we feel more like strong, steady, and supported. It's a little bit similar, right? But almost like because we were brave, later on we get to feel steady and supported. And that's a cooperative vibe with the sextile aspect there. So whatever we do in terms of reinforcing the supported feel of our home life is likely to bring a good outcome. Thank you for bearing with me while I spit that out. Okay, on the sun side of the page today, Venus makes ingress to Gemini. So Mercury is currently in Gemini. Venus is now going to move into Gemini this evening. And, Venus in Gemini is a funny creature. Venus in Gemini is a little less emotional and a little more flirtatious, maybe a little less attached to outcomes, and a little more just interested in connection, and very, very cooperative and collaborative. So, if you know somebody who is ruled by Venus, like a Taurus or a Libra in your life, now is a great time to be negotiating the terms of your relationship with them. See what they're open to, see what they're interested in with you. And it's also a good time in general for all of us. We're going to be more attracted to intellectual things, or things that spark our imaginations and make us want to talk about things. So if you're a good storyteller or a very smart person, or probably very funny, you'll do pretty well while Venus is in Gemini. Sun is trine to Saturn and square to Neptune, while Venus is square to Saturn and sextile to Neptune. And this is really right here, this trine is saying, whatever it is that you're working on in your outer life, just keep working on it right now. You don't have to worry about your home life going to the detriment of it. You just have these blessings that come with whatever work you're doing toward your bigger goals, right? Toward your future stability and security, current and future. Venus sextile Neptune is over here fantasizing about opulent, shiny things that you would like to have, and therefore kind of helping you out in your motivation to keep working toward that life that you want to live. And these squares here, they just keep spurring us further into action. Sun is also quincunx to Pluto through tomorrow, and it's almost like trying a different key, right? Something might stop us. We have a standard way of solving a certain problem, and it's not working anymore, or we find that we're still having to solve the problem too often. So we need to seek a new approach. We need to do something a little bit differently. Endings and beginnings, but it's it's very much on our outer life focus. So it might be in the workplace, or in our social sphere. Something the way we're doing it isn't really working for us, and we're going to have to find a different way. Mercury sextile Jupiter through the 24th, working on the big plan, right? Mercury, thoughts, plans, and communications, and Jupiter, your sense of expansion, your broadened sense of what you can be, do, and have, right? So that sextile vibe says the intellect and the big plan are working together, and good things can come from it. So give it some focus. Venus is trying to Pluto, and we're more attractive when Venus is trying to Pluto, and we are also growing stronger bonds to the people we spend our time with. So make sure you're keeping good company, okay? And then Pluto is retrograde. Saturn is retrograde. This is all about people, things, institutions, resources, privileges, notions that we are used to leaning on and relying on that may not really be available to us for very much longer, if they're even available to us now, okay? If you think of it as a support, especially something that supports you from the inside. And those things can be tough to examine, I understand. But if it feels like, one of your supports is being pulled out from underneath you, you are not alone in the world, okay? A lot of us are feeling some, what we would consider standard ways of being called into question in ways that we realize that we have to find a different way to be supported so that it's not to the detriment of other people. And with all of that said, we have the Six of Rods. My friends, a reason to celebrate. Okay, so wands are about fire. They're about passion and intensity and drive and spark and inspiration, initiation. And here we see a person sort of being the subject of the parade, right? They've got this laurel wreath attached to their wand, and a whole bunch of other people have shown up to sort of celebrate them with their own wands, right? So it's sort of a gathering to celebrate a person for having made an achievement. I was sitting down doing tarot readings at my local Pride recently, and I sat down with somebody who got the Six of Wands, and I said, "Oh, you have a reason to celebrate." And they didn't seem to understand it. And I said, "Well, yesterday I came out to myself. Does that count as a reason to celebrate?" And I said, "Heck yeah." Okay, so even the small victories, even the victories that don't seem that monumental, or that nobody is sharing with you, so nobody can really show up to celebrate with you just yet. Just the ways in which you win with yourself when you when you come to be more honest with yourself about yourself, or the ways in which you have these minor victories in terms of just expressing yourself a little bit better than you have in the past, or just succeeding a little bit differently, or succeeding a little bit better, or succeeding at something that nobody's ever going to notice you succeeded at, right? A little spiritual victory, or a little creative victory that you can't really share with anybody, right? You have to celebrate all of the wins, okay? And you don't have to throw yourself a big parade for every single one, but definitely give yourself a little arm pump and a yes, okay? So, Six of Wands, brave, passionate, competitive, and cooperative, strong, steady, and supported. These are both, but especially with that Mars. Mars is very fiery. The moon is very fiery right now. So, the thing about an accomplishment that deserves celebration is that it is brave, right? And that you took a step that was really maybe difficult to take, or you accomplished something that was maybe very difficult for you to accomplish, even if nobody will ever even know about the work you had to do to get it right. And this is what we desire, is to have reasons to celebrate. So keep your eyes on the prize. Keep working under the impression of the Sun trine Saturn that says whatever I do is really blessed at this time and will bring me more reward for what I'm doing than I even think it will. Okay. Saturn has its answers for people who do things for the glory, and you'll get an ego check there. But if you are doing it for passion, if you're doing it for love, then if you're doing it for yourself to have your own personal victories, then please keep going for it. Don't worry about the ego check when you're trying to help yourself. Okay, and then taken together with the Two of Cups, definitely, if you find yourself starting to have a relationship at this time, or a partnership with somebody, and there is mutual regard between the two of you, and you have come to some sort of an agreement about that, whether it's a business partnership or a romantic partnership, or just hey, I made a really good friend, then that is a reason to celebrate. Absolutely. And you can have a parade or go to a parade, especially this time of year. It's June. The parades are not over yet. So, definitely I'm still seeing some pride vibes in this. I talked to a lot of people who wanted to, hopefully meet somebody, or actually who had in mind who they'd like to connect with, or partner up with, and so of course romance is in the air, partnership is in the air, but also there's just this victory we celebrate, that we can be ourselves and be together out in public spaces, and celebrate ourselves, and allow our friends and our families to celebrate us as well, because it's brave to be who we are. Okay, I think that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me today. I truly appreciate you for being here with me. That's for real. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.